Everyone, hope you are doing well with your studies. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Learn Knowledge. So today we'll continue with our discussion about French Revolution. So friends, before we begin with our today's video, let's have a look on the previous sections of this chapter, that are division of French society during 18th century, outbreak of French Revolution, and abolishment of monarchy and establishing republic in the political system of France, role of women in the revolution, and abolition of slavery in the France. So friends, videos of all these concepts have been uploaded on our channel. If you haven't watched them, link is given in the description below. Go through those videos to have a clear concept of all the chapter thoroughly in your mind. So let's discuss our today's topic, that is of the revolution and everyday life. So friends, as we discussed the various incidents that took place during the revolution of France in the 18th century, a great question struck our mind, that this did this revolution had any great impact on the lives of the people of France? The answer is yes. The politics of any country obviously have impact on the lives of the people, and the change that that can be noticed on the people of France was the change of the dressing style they wear. For example, the Jacobins, the sans culottes, or the members of the Jacobin club changed their dressing style to the long trousers to rebel, to show their aggression against the aristocracy, or the or the members of the first and second estate. Or the change can be the languages they spoke, the book they read. For example, books of many philosophers flooded the streets and the minds of the people of France of the 18th century. So these were particularly some changes that can be noticed on the people due to revolution or due to political change in the government of France. So, as a result, the revolutionary government of France decided, and they took it upon themselves to pass laws that would translate the ideas of liberty and equality into everyday practice. Means they want to include the basic ideas of liberty and equality into the everyday life of common people of France. And for this achievement of this measure, they passed several laws. One important law that came into effect soon after the storming of Bastille prison was the abolition of censorship. So friends, as we are talking about the abolition of censorship, we should be knowing the meaning of this word censorship. What is it? So, censorship is defined as the suppression or prohibition of any parts of books, films, news, and which parts that are considered obscene, politically unacceptable, or a threat to the security of any nation. So this is the meaning of censorship. And let's take example of present situation, present era of India. In our nation, any film can be shown on a bigger screen only if it has been censored by the Central Board of Film Certification, CBFC. So um, similar to this, and a law of censorship was imposed on France. So let's read it. In France of the old regime, all written material and cultural activities like books, newspapers, plays could be published or performed only after they had been approved by the censors of the king. So friends, what were the negative sides of this censorship? So that because of which the revolutionary government was forced to introduce a law which mentions the abolition of censorship. So try to understand what happens, that any particular book, newspaper, or play have to be censored not by an independent body. They were censored by the censors of the king only. So the king allowed the publication or the performance of only those plays which showed their interest, which applauded their decisions. But now, when the constitution of France was framed by National Assembly in 1791, so according to the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen, it has proclaimed the right of freedom of speech and expression to every native and citizen of the France. So as the right was proclaimed a basic human right, so obviously abolition of censorship was done by this revolutionary government, and as a result the newspaper, pamphlet, books, printed pictures flooded the towns of France. These all describe the events and changes that were taking place during the France of 18th century, and the most interesting fact about this abolition was that opposing thoughts for the revolutionary government could also be freely expressed, and by this we can conclude that a real freedom of speech and expression was granted to every native and citizen of the France under the revolutionary government as it abolished the censorship. Now let's analyze the result of this decision of abolition of censorship. So the result was a spread of political awareness, as all the pamphlets, plays, newspapers, books, they all described and discussed the events and changes taking place in the France of 18th century. So as each educated person was now able to read the opposing as well as supporting views of the revolutionary government, so a spread of political awareness and political knowledge was also provided to the citizen and native of France. That was not given during the time of censorship, which was imposed by the censors of the king only. And another result was that plays, songs, and festive processions were carried out on several occasions. Now, why the plays, songs, and processions were carried out? Because of this, uneducated people were also able to grasp and identify the government's decisions with ideas of liberty or justice. So educated people were able to read and analyze by reading those books. But what about the uneducated people? So for uneducated ones, plays, songs, and festive processions based on those books and newspapers were carried out, that helped them to grasp and identify the government's decision. So these were the results that emerged as the positive one for the people of France. So now here comes the yet another important topic of the French Revolution, that was the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte as the Emperor of France. So let's discuss about this. So now what happened, that Napoleon Bonaparte didn't belong to any royal dynasty, or it was not the ancestor of any previously ruled king of France. He was an ordinary military officer, and how he became the ruler of such a vast empire of France, let's discuss this. So Napoleon Bonaparte was an excellent administrative and military officer. So, Napoleon Bonaparte took advantage of the instability which emerged in France because the Directory was dismissed. So, after the fall of Jacobin Club, a Directory was ruling over the France, and the Directory was also disbanded due to directors often clashed with the Legislative Council. So Napoleon Bonaparte took the advantage of this situation, and by dictatorship, by his force, by his arms, he crowned himself as the Emperor of France in 1804. So he became the ruler of France in 1800. So friends, as I have told you earlier that Napoleon was having great administrative as well as military skills. So as soon as he ascended the throne of France, he started conquering a large number of neighboring countries of France, disbanded dynasties, and created his own kingdoms. So friends, let's try to understand the empire of Napoleon Bonaparte by analyzing this map. So if you will look at these purple shaded countries, all these countries represent the local empire of France on which the ancestors of France like Louis XIV, 15, 16 were ruling. And these pink color shaded countries are those which have signed a treaty with Napoleon Bonaparte, and these light purple colored shaded countries are those which are controlled by the Napoleon Bonaparte through arms, through war. Through war they have been controlled by the ruler. And these yellow colored shaded countries, Britain and Portugal, are those which are at war with Napoleon Bonaparte. So now you can imagine how much great skills of military as well as administration Napoleon was having, that such a big empire was under his control during 1810. So now let's have a look on various laws introduced by the Napoleon during his reign. So his laws were seen as a reforming laws which bring a great change in the political as well as in the social system of France. What were those? First was, he dismissed dynasties and created small kingdoms by conquering with war or either with treaty or allies. Second was, he framed a law which ensures that the private properties of the country were protected. So a step to protect the private properties of France was taken by Napoleon Bonaparte. And for measuring system, he introduced a uniform system of measurement incorporated with decimal system. So this was also a new method which was introduced by Napoleon Bonaparte only. None other kings had such a great mind and such a great problem solving and new idea making skills. And fourth was, he believed that the status of the country can be raised by education, and thus introduced many laws that paved the way for education of youth. That is still a very prominent factor for growing income, for growing economy of any country. Last was, he introduced banks and banking system to improve the economic status of the countries under his control. So these were some of the laws introduced by Napoleon Bonaparte, for which he is appreciated by the historians at great heights. Now, how did the Napoleon's rule came to an end? So a feeling of revolt started to emerge against the Napoleon Bonaparte. But what happened? Initially, many people saw Napoleon as a liberator who would bring freedom and equality for the people of France, as he had introduced many useful and practical laws we have discussed earlier. But soon the Napoleonic armies came to be viewed everywhere as an invading force. because he was always on any army campus or army mission that were controlling the kings of others ruler other mainly the neighboring countries of France. As a result, what happened? The countries who feared their power and kingdom at risk, and those dynasties who had already lost from the armies of Napoleon Bonaparte, as we have discussed, analyzed the map of France, which were those Austria, Spain, and many other countries, allied together and fought a fierce battle against France, against Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. This is a great and prominent battle for the in the history of France. So we should analyze this battle also. So let's begin. This Battle of Waterloo was fought on 18 June 1815. Location, as the name indicates, that Waterloo, situated in Netherlands, and the result was decisive coalition victory, means France lost this war. Now, coalition victory, though, which countries were involved in this coalition? Those were United Kingdom, which were already in a war with France, Prussia, which were under his control, Hanover, Netherlands, Nassau, and Brunswick. These all countries had a great war against a single competitor, France. Let's have a look on the strength of Allied Party. So, Allied Party was having a strength of 1,18,000 army soldiers, which included the soldiers of all the countries. So, like Wellington Army was consisted 68,000 soldiers of the total. United Kingdom 25,000, British 6,000, Netherlands 17,000, Hanover 11, 6,000 from Brunswick, Nassau 3,000, 156 guns they were having, and Prussians were 50,000, among which consisted whole this total 1,18,000. And what was the strength of Napoleon's army? Alone only they consisted of about 73,000 soldiers, in which 50,700 was infantry, 14,390 cavalry, 8,000 artillery and engineers, with an addition of 252 guns. So, as we discuss all these numbers of soldiers, so if we came on to a conclusion that the number of soldiers were less in Napoleon's army as compared to that of coalition one. So now what happened? As a result, Napoleon Bonaparte was crushed and defeated at the Battle of Waterloo in 1859. And as a result of defeat faced by Napoleon, his reign over France came to an end. So Napoleon Bonaparte's reign over France came to an end in 1815. Why? Because of the defeat faced by him in the Battle of Waterloo. So now many of his measures that carried the revolutionary ideas of liberty and modern laws to other parts of Europe and had an impact on people long after Napoleon had left. So as we have discussed that his laws were full of liberty and equality, and they flooded the other parts of Europe, and they had a great impact on the people long after the Napoleon had left. So let's conclude this French Revolution. The ideas of liberty and democratic rights were the most important legacy of the French Revolution. These ideas spread from France to the rest of Europe and even in India during the 19th century, where federal systems were abolished. Colonized people reworked the idea of freedom from bondage into their movement to create a sovereign nation state. and two Indians, that were Tipu Sultan and Ram Mohan Roy, were two individuals who responded to the ideas coming from revolutionary France. They analyzed those ideas and proposed those one in the Indian culture also. So with all this, we come to the end of French Revolution. Hope you have a clear understanding of this chapter. And if you are having any type of doubt, comment in the comment section below. I will definitely give answer to your queries. So friends, thanks for watching this video. If you like the video, press the like button, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Do press the bell icon to get the latest video updates. Thank you.